Deep in the clandestine mines, raw tungsten and steel are extracted. These strategic elements, banned by sanctions, form the heavy, cold skeleton of a forbidden weapon. Logistics defy the blockade. Heavy forklifts groan under the weight of imported aluminum alloys, moving the raw geometric potential of the airframe into position for processing. The furnace roars, a crucible of creation. Molten alloys churn at thousands of degrees, purifying the metal that will soon withstand the freezing vacuum of space. Massive rollers compress red-hot steel, screaming with steam. The metal is tortured into high-strength sheets, forging the skin of a giant designed to pierce the atmosphere. Precision spinning forms the fuel domes. Centrifugal force and hardened rollers stretch the metal into perfect hemispheres, creating the pressure vessels that will hold the volatile propellant. Computer-controlled milling machines carve intricate isogrid patterns. Every gram of excess weight is shaved away, leaving a skeleton that is impossibly light yet structurally invincible. Frictions stir welding bonds, the fuselage, without melting. The molecular structure is fused into a seamless cylinder, a perfect pressure vessel built to survive the ascent. The scale of ambition is revealed. Massive fuel tank sections hang from cranes, dwarfing the workers below, a cathedral of aerospace engineering hidden from the world's eyes. A river of precision components flows. Brass and steel valves, the heart of the propulsion system, move towards inspection, each one a masterpiece of stolen technology. Measurement is absolute. Ruby-tipped probes verify tolerances to the micron. In this game of nuclear stakes, a single microscopic error spells catastrophic failure for the regime. Lasers pierce copper alloy, drilling injector plates with surgical violence. These thousands of tiny holes will atomize fuel, turning liquid chaos into controlled, directed thrust. Titanium impellers, milled from solid blocks, await assembly. These complex blades will spin at breakneck speeds, pumping fuel into the combustion chamber under immense pressure. The forge strikes, shaping the throat of the beast. Hydraulic pressure compresses steel into the nozzle components that will channel the fury of the rocket's exhaust. Inside the vacuum furnace, ceramic parts bake. They are hardened to survive temperatures hotter than a volcano, protecting the engine from melting under its own power. Chemistry bonds metal. Electroless nickel plating coats the cooling channels, a microscopic armor against the corrosive fuels that will soon course through these metallic veins. The nozzle takes shape. Hundreds of tubes are brazed into a bell, a regenerative cooling system designed to save the engine from its own infernal heat. Carbon fiber is wound tight. Layers of black filament and resin build high-pressure tanks, stronger than steel but light as plastic, to feed the engine's pumps. The nervous system is woven. Miles of avionics wiring are bundled and routed, carrying the electronic signals that will command the giant to fly true. Torque wrenches click, sealing the bond. Vernier thrusters are bolted to the main frame, the steering muscles that will guide the missile through the upper atmosphere. Robots place the brains. Microchips, smuggled through shell companies, are soldered onto circuit boards, creating the guidance computer that will calculate the trajectory of destruction. The gyroscope spins, an artificial inner ear. Suspended in a gimbal, it detects the slightest movement, ensuring the missile knows its place in the chaotic sky. Wind tunnel tests visualize the invisible. Smoke streams over the nose cone model, proving the aerodynamics that will allow the weapon to slice through the air. Vibration tables shake the electronics. The guidance system is tortured to simulate the violent G-forces of launch, ensuring it will not fail when the engines ignite. Inside the tank, robots spray protection. Anti-slosh baffles and coatings are applied, preventing the liquid fuel from destabilizing the rocket during its violent ascent to orbit. Hydraulics are primed. Chrome pistons extend and retract, the actuators that will pivot the engines. They are the muscles responding to the guidance computer's electronic will. Batteries are loaded, the missile's lifeblood. Heavy silver zinc cells provide the electrical power to run the pumps and computers during the brief, violent flight to space. The cluster comes together. 4 massive engines are aligned on the thrust structure. This quad-chamber design is the powerhouse that lifts the heavy ICBM from Earth. Valves are tested with fluid. Liquids rush through the plumbing, verifying flow rates. The circulatory system of the rocket is proven ready for the volatile propellants. Rivets bind the stages. The interstage structure, a lattice of strength, connects the propulsion units. The airframe grows longer. Taking on its final, terrifying shape, camouflage is applied. Green paint covers the primer, a military skin for a strategic weapon. The massive cylinder is transformed from industrial product to war machine. The heat shield is bonded. Ablative cork is applied to the nose cone. This organic layer will burn away, sacrificing itself to save the warhead during re-entry. Explosives allow separation. The fairing test proves the nose cone can split open in space, exposing the nuclear payload at the precise moment of deployment. The transporter takes shape. Massive off-road tires taller than men are mounted. This vehicle provides mobility, making the weapon a ghost that can hide anywhere. Steel muscles are installed. Giant hydraulic rams are fitted to the launcher chassis. They possess the power to lift the fully loaded missile into firing position. The cockpit is readied. Analog gauges and switches are installed, a rugged interface for the soldiers who will drive this mobile launch pad into the wilderness. The first stage is finished. Glossy black and white paint marks the fuselage. It hangs in the factory, a silent giant waiting to be mated with its upper half. Identity is stamped. A serial number is stenciled onto the hull. It is a mark of inventory in a stockpile designed to threaten cities across the ocean. Carbon meets metal. The nozzle skirt is attached, extending the engine bell for vacuum efficiency. Advanced composites enhance the performance of this illicit aerospace marvel. The marriage is complete. Laser alignment guides the two stages together. The Hwasong-17 is now one continuous object, the largest road mobile missile ever constructed. The warhead waits. The black conical re-entry vehicle sits in isolation. It is the final piece of the puzzle, the dark purpose for which this entire machine exists. Bolts tighten under extreme torque. The interstage ring locks the first and second stages together, fusing two independent rockets into a single multi-stage ballistic vehicle. Aerodynamics are smoothed. Cable raceway covers snap into place, hiding the external wiring. The sleek white spine ensures air flows smoothly over the missile's flank. Gimbal checks verify control. The engine nozzles swivel robotically, testing the vectoring system that will steer the rocket by directing the pillar of fire. The brain is sealed. The avionics section is closed off with a bulkhead. The gold-plated connectors and sensitive electronics are now protected for the flight ahead. Pressure builds in the test. Gauges creep into the red zone as tanks are stressed with nitrogen. The metal holds firm, proving it can contain the fuel. Leaks are hunted. Bubbling solution searches for microscopic gaps in the weld seams. A single escape of gas could doom the mission, so perfection is mandatory. Insulation protects the skirt. Gold foil blankets are glued to the engine interior. This thermal armor shields the structure from the radiant heat of the exhaust plume. Red tags warn the crew. Protective covers shield the delicate engine bells. Remove before flight ribbons flutter. The last barrier between the machine and the atmosphere. The bus is assembled. Small thrusters and fuel tanks form the post-boost vehicle. This final stage will dance in space, aiming the warhead at its target. The warhead descends. The heavy black cone is lowered onto the missile stack. The weapon is now armed, the payload mated to the delivery system. Tension holds the payload. The separation band is tightened. Explosive bolts are primed to sever this connection only when the missile reaches the edge of space. Gravity is measured. The fully assembled giant rests on load cells. The total weight is confirmed, a critical number for the guidance computer's flight calculations. Balance is perfected. Lasers scan the center of gravity. Ballast is adjusted to ensure the missile flies straight, preventing it from tumbling out of control. The doors grind open. Light spills into the dark tunnel. The massive blast doors reveal the path to the outside world, ending the manufacturing phase. The beast awakes. 11 axles begin to turn. The massive tires of the TEL crush the ground, carrying the strategic weight of the nation's nuclear ambition. The Erector is tested. Hydraulic rams lift the empty cradle. The movement is smooth and heavy, proving the truck can raise the missile for launch. Rubber meets steel. Pads are bolted to the cradle arms. These cushions will cradle the fragile airframe, protecting it from the shocks of the off-road journey. The crane lifts the giant. The completed missile hovers in the air, a fragile cylinder of power. The transporter truck positions itself underneath to receive the load. The weapon is loaded. The missile settles into the TEL's cradle. The suspension dips under the tonnage. The delivery system and the weapon are now one unit. Clamps lock it down. Hydraulic jaws secure the missile to the truck. It is now ready for transport, held tight against the vibrations of the road. The lift is verified. The truck raises the fully loaded missile to launch position. The hydraulics whine, lifting the massive weight as a final system check. Power flows to the rocket. The umbilical cable connects the truck to the missile. Data and electricity transfer, keeping the weapon alive while on the move. The driver takes control. In the dim cabin, switches are flipped. The military crew prepares to drive the largest mobile missile launcher in history. Camouflage hides the threat. Nets are draped over the vehicle, breaking up its outline. From the air, the weapon of mass destruction looks like foliage. The hangar waits at night. Red lights bathe the vehicle in a combat glow. The missile sleeps in the darkness, ready for the command to deploy. Visibility is cleared. A wiper blade moves across the thick glass. The mechanic ensures the driver has a clear view for the treacherous night drive ahead. Fueling is simulated. Heavy hoses are dragged to the missile. The crew practices the connection sequence, rehearsing the critical moments before the actual launch. The turbines spin. A dry spin test verifies the pumps are free. The high-pitched whine confirms the engines are mechanically ready to accept liquid fuel. Code streams on screens. The guidance computer is flashed with the final flight path. The target coordinates are locked into the digital memory of the weapon. Final inspection scans the skin. Flashlights reveal no defects. The glossy paint is flawless. The quality control is finished. The missile is accepted for service. The blast doors open fully. Chains rattle as the barrier is removed. The exit is clear. The factory sounds are replaced by the wind from the outside. Into the cold night. The nose of the TEL emerges. Snow falls in the headlights. The weapon leaves the safety of the underground for the open world. Diesel smoke erupts. The massive engine roars. Black exhaust plumes rise as the heavy transporter begins to move under its own immense power. Headlights cut through the dark. Beams of light illuminate the path. The vehicle pushes forward, a monster of steel and rubber moving through the winter mist. Tires crush the earth. The convoy rolls out. The ground shakes slightly under the passing weight. The mobile launcher begins its journey to the launch site. The scale is revealed. The Hwasong 17 on its launcher dominates the landscape. It is a skyscraper on wheels, moving slowly through the shadowy night. The road is treacherous. The suspension works hard as the truck navigates the concrete apron. The missile sways gently, a terrifying pendulum of destruction. The forest provides cover. The vehicle turns onto a dirt track. Trees brush the sides, hiding the movement from spy satellites passing overhead. Mud flies from the wheels. The off-road capability is tested. The chassis flexes over rough terrain, carrying the delicate rocket to the launch clearing. The site is reached. The truck comes to a halt in the clearing. Air brakes hiss. Under the stars, the stage is set for the demonstration. Legs stabilize the earth. Hydraulic outriggers extend, biting into the concrete. The launcher levels itself, creating a solid foundation for the violent event to come. The giant stands up. Hydraulics push the cradle skyward. The missile rises from horizontal, tilting up until it points directly at the stars. Vertical lock is achieved. The Hwasong 17 reaches 90 degrees. It towers over the forest, a white obelisk of power aligned with the gravity of Earth. The cradle lets go. Steel arms retract, leaving the missile standing freely on the launch table. The support is gone. It now stands on its own. The truck retreats. The TEL lowers its arm and drives away. The missile is left alone on the pad, isolated in the spotlight, ready for fueling. The tankers arrive. Crews rush to the pad with hoses. The logistics of liquid fuel begin. The volatile propellants must be loaded immediately before launch. Ice forms on the connection. Cryogenic oxidizer flows into the rocket. The coupling freezes instantly, a testament to the extreme cold of the liquid oxygen. The skin freezes. Frost creeps up the side of the fuselage as the tank fills. The missile breathes white vapor, becoming a cold, living thing. Pressure is vented. Excess oxygen gas hisses from the relief valves. A cloud of white steam envelops the rocket, drifting ghost-like in the floodlights. The lifeline is severed. Fueling is complete. Hoses are disconnected and dragged away. The crew evacuates. The missile is now a fully fueled bomb waiting to fly. The pad is silent. The area is cleared. The Hwasong-17 stands solitary and defiant. The only movement is the venting steam. The countdown is silent. The brain spins up. Gyroscopes reach maximum speed. The guidance system locks its reference to the Earth's rotation. The target is acquired in the digital mind. The spark waits. Inside the cold engines, the igniters are primed. The chemistry of combustion is milliseconds away from transforming the silence into thunder. Clamps hold the fury. Steel jaws grip the base, anchoring the rocket. They will hold against the initial thrust, releasing only when full power is reached. Ignition flash. Green fire erupts from the base, the signature of chemical ignition. It is instantly followed by a blinding orange roar of burning kerosene. The thunder arrives. 4 engines hit full throttle. Smoke and fire consume the launch pad. The acoustic energy shakes the very air. The beast screams. Release the clamps. Explosive bolts detonate. The hold-down mechanisms spring open. The connection to the Earth is severed. The fight against gravity begins. Liftoff. The massive rocket begins to rise slowly at first, riding a column of fire. It climbs past the tower, lighting up the entire night sky. Speed builds. The missile clears the smoke. It accelerates, turning the dark night into day. The roar fades behind it as it outruns the sound. Mach diamonds form. The exhaust plume stabilizes into a supersonic flow. Shockwaves create a pattern of bright nodes in the tail of fire. Perfection in physics. The trajectory arcs. The missile climbs high into the atmosphere. It becomes a bright star, leaving a twisting trail of smoke that points to space. Earth falls away. The horizon curves. The sun rises on the rocket as it climbs higher than the mountains. The vibration shakes the camera frame. The sound barrier breaks. Vapor cones form as the missile hits max Q. The structure groans under the aerodynamic pressure but punches through the wall of air. The engines cut. First stage fuel is gone. The fire dies instantly. The rocket coasts for a second in the silence of the upper atmosphere. Separation. Explosives fire. The empty first stage falls away, tumbling back to the ocean. The heavy lifting is done. The journey continues lighter. Second stage fire. The vacuum engine ignites. The purple flame expands in the void. The missile pushes onward, accelerating towards orbital velocity in the blackness. The mask falls. The fairing splits open. The nose cone covers tumble away, revealing the warhead to the vacuum of space. The payload is exposed. Coasting in orbit, the vehicle floats above the blue Earth. Clouds swirl miles below. The weapon is now a satellite, a man-made moon of destruction. The bus maneuvers. Small thrusters adjust the angle. The post-boost vehicle fine-tunes the path. It aligns the warhead for the final drop. The warhead releases. Springs push the black cone away. It drifts silently into the void. The delivery is complete. Gravity takes over. The threat is alone. The re-entry vehicle floats in space. It is a dark silhouette against the stars, a dormant seed of fire waiting to fall. The atmosphere returns. The warhead hits the air. Friction begins. A faint glow starts at the tip. The fall turns into a dive. Fire surrounds it. Plasma engulfs the cone. The heat shield burns, protecting the core. It becomes a meteor streaking down at hypersonic speed. The sky is split. A trail of white smoke cuts the clouds. The warhead screams towards the surface, an unstoppable force of kinetic energy. Impact. The dummy warhead slams into the ocean target. Water explodes skyward. The shockwave confirms accuracy. The test is a terrifying success. Cheers in the dark. The control room erupts. Data confirms the flight. The engineers celebrate the technical victory, the culmination of their secret labor. The leader watches. A silhouette of power observes the triumph. The successful test solidifies the regime's status. The gamble has paid off. The world watches. Propaganda fills the screens. Edited footage broadcasts the might of the state. The missile is the star of the show. The parade shows the fleet. In the daylight, the missiles roll by. The Hwasong-17 is no longer a secret. It is a symbol of defiance on display. The threat remains. The camera lingers on the red star. The industrial feat is complete. The banned weapon is real, and the world has changed.